A while ago, I made a video about Olestra, a fat substitute made by P&G. However, Olestra is too controversial in terms of food safety, so it is not common in the marketplace and it is not recommended to be used. However, that doesn't mean that we should give up on finding safer, healthier alternatives to fat. So in this video, we will try to figure out what are some relatively safer fat substitute or fat replacer with PAA. Hello, welcome to What People Also Ask, where I answer some of the most Googled questions with even more Google. Today's question is, what are some fat substitute and fat replacer in food preparation? In this video, we are going to highlight 8 fat substitutes, which are a healthier option for both your personal recipe and commercial food preparation. So let's introduce our first substitute. 1. Carrageenan. One potential fat replacer with relatively minor side effect is carrageenan. Carrageenan is a polysaccharide derived from seaweed, commonly used as a stabilizer, thickener, and emulsifier in many foods such as ice cream, yogurt, and plant-based milk. It can give food a richer, creamier texture that may mimic some of the property of fat, thus enhancing the perception of food lower in fat. For instance, a study published in the Journal of Food Science and Technology in 2016 titled Development and Quality Assessment of Carrageenan Incorporated Low-Fat Xanthan Patty. Researchers used 0.3%, 0.6%, and 0.9% carrageenan and 5% vegetable oils to make low-fat Xanthan patty. The control group of high-fat Xanthan patty used 10% vegetable oil. The result found that in terms of taste and appearance, the low-fat patty with 0.5% carrageenan were just as delicious as the high-fat Xanthan patties in control group, and even more so. 2. Applesauce. Applesauce can replace fat in many baking recipes due to its moist, semi-solid consistency that mimics some of the physical property of fat. It contributes moisture to baked goods, much like fat does, which can help maintain pleasing texture in the final product. For example, in a 2013 study published in the Emirate Journal of Food and Agriculture titled Consumer Acceptability of Chocolate Chip Cookie Using Applesauce as Fat Butter Substitute, researchers looked at how well people liked chocolate chips cookies where some or all of the butter was replaced with applesauce. They made 3 types of cookie: a normal recipe, one with half of the butter was replaced, and one where all the butter was replaced. People rate these cookies on things like how they looked, taste, and felt. The cookie with half the butter replaced were liked just as much as the normal one, but people don't like the one with all the butter replaced as much. This means that applesauce could be a good way to make healthier baked goods by reducing the amount of fat. 3. Inulin. Inulin, a dietary fiber, is used as a fat replacement due to its creamy texture, which mimics the mouthfeel of fat. This helps maintain the texture of food product when reducing fat content. Moreover, it's lower in calories than fat, allowing for a decrease in the overall calorie count of the product. Additionally, inulin has prebiotic property that can support gut health. Therefore, substituting fat with inulin can create a healthier product without compromising on the sensory attributes. For example, a 2013 study published in Meat Science titled Dry Fermented Chicken Sausage Produced with Inulin and Corn Oil: Physiochemical, Microbiological, and Textural Characteristics and Acceptability During Storage. In this study, 50% of the corn oil typically used in sausage production was substituted with inulin. This change resulted in a firmer and chewier sausage. While the altered texture was noticeable, it did not seem to affect the sausage overall acceptance by consumers. Reducing the oil content also resulted in slight darker and redder sausage color, but without significantly changing the sausage's physical or chemical properties or its taste appeal. Even when stored in a refrigerator for 45 days, the quality of the inulin-added lower oil sausage remained good. The study suggested that the use of inulin in food production could have potential health benefit, Inulin is a prebiotic that aids in gut health and calcium absorption. Therefore, the use of inulin not only offers a way to decrease fat content in food, but also enhance nutritional profile. For gelatin, specifically ultra-high pressure assisted preparation of cowhide gelatin, gelatin derived from collagen is used as a fat substitute due to its ability to gill and bind water, which can mimic the texture of fat in food product. It helps retain moisture, improving the mouthfeel and enhancing the perception of creaminess, similar to fat. In a study published in Food Research International in 2022, titled Ultra-High Pressure Assisted Preparation of Cowhide Gelatin as a Promising Fat Substitute Improves the Nutrient Ratio and Antioxidant Capacity of Beef Patty, researchers used UHP-assisted cowhide gelatin to replace different proportions of beef fat, 0%, 25%, 50%, 75%, and 100% to make low-fat beef patties. The results show that replacing beef fat with cowhide gelatin had no significant effect on the appearance and tenderness of beef patties, and the flavor of the beef fat group replaced with 50% gelatin was not significantly different from that of control group. The study suggested partially replacing fat with gelatin offers the advantage of maintaining the sensory attribute of food, while potentially lowering caloric content and enhancing nutritional value. 5. Mung bean paste. Mung bean paste, made from cooked and pureed mung beans, is often used as fat substitute because of its creamy texture, similar to fat in many food products. It can help maintain the smooth and rich mouthfeel that fat would typically provide. It's also a healthier alternative as it's low in fat and calorie, but high in fiber and protein, supporting overall nutrient content. A study published in Journal of American Dietetic Association in 2001 titled Acceptability of Peanut Butter Cookie Prepared Using Mung Bean Paste as a Fat Ingredient Substitute, and to test if mung bean paste can be used as a replacement for butter in peanut butter cookies to achieve similar taste and texture. It is part of a larger initiative to find ways to reduce fat intake as recommended by dietary guidelines for Americans. In the research, mung bean paste was used to replace 25%, 50%, 75%, and 100% of the butter in peanut butter cookies. Cookies quality was then assessed using several techniques. These include the cookie spread technique, which measure the cookie size, and taste testing by semi-trained and consumer sensory panel. Overall, the study found that mung bean paste could successfully replace up to 25% of butter in peanut butter cookies without a significant differences in taste or texture. However, at 50% replacement, consumer could tell a difference. So while mung bean hold promise as partial butter substitute, more research is needed to further refine the process. 6. Cellulose. Cellulose, a plant-based fiber, can replace fat in food due to its unique properties. It's low-calorie, non-digestible, and can emulate the mouthfeel and texture of fat. Cellulose absorbs water to create a creaminess similar to fat without the high calories and unhealthy effect of excessive fat consumption. In a 2013 research titled Sunflower Oil Water Cellulose Ether Emulsions, a trans-fatty acid-free fat replacer in biscuit, texture and acceptability study, the researcher comparing the dough and biscuit made with cellulose emulsions to those made with shortening. The cellulose emulsion dough was found to be softer and more elastic, with the finished biscuit having higher spreadability. The texture of this biscuit was very similar to those made with shortening, despite having 33% less fat. The similarity was attributed to the thermogelation ability of the cellulose ether during baking. In terms of consumer acceptance, there was a slight preferences for shortening biscuit, but the difference was very small, suggesting that cellulose emulsion biscuit were almost as acceptable to consumers. 7. Guar Gum. Guar Gum is an effective fat substitute due to its thickening and stabilizing property. When added to food, it can absorb water to form a gel, which mimics the creamy texture of fat. In a study published in the journal Small Ruminant Research in 2016 titled Effect of Guar Gum as a Fat Replacer on Some Quality Parameter of Mutton Goshtaba, a traditional Indian meat product, researchers were looking at how changing the fat content and adding guar gum to mutton goshtaba would affect its quality. They reduced the fat from 20% to 10% and added different amount of guar gum powder, up to 1.5%. They found that reducing the fat and added guar gum made the dish higher in protein and moisture, but lower in fat. They also lightened the color a bit. The lower fat version has less damage to the lipid and muscle proteins. It was also less hard, gummy, and chewy, but more springy. In taste test, people noticed the lower fat versions were less firm and flavorful, but juicier. But when they added 0.5% guar gum to low fat version, people like it just as much as the higher fat version. 8. Xanthan Gum. Xanthan gum, a polysaccharide derived from bacterial fermentation, is used as a fat substitute due to its unique hydrocolloid property. It can absorb water and form a thick gel-like consistency that replicates the texture and mouthfeel of fat in food product. The gel formation aids the moisture retention, mimicking the creaminess typically provided by fat. Furthermore, it helps stabilize emotions, similar to the role fat plays in certain food systems. In a study published in International Journal of Food Science and Technology in 2004, titled The Use of Guar and Xanthan Gums in Product of Light Low-Fat Cakes, researchers tried to make cake healthier by replacing some of the fat with either guar gum or xanthan gum. They make cake with 25% and 50% less fat and added less gum instead. They check the cake's density, volume, moisture, and internal structure. They also measure how much water the cake held and how firm and elastic they were. They found out that even after 15 days, the cake with 50% less fat and added gum were just as firm and elastic as regular cakes. So replacing half the fat with gum can still result in light, low-fat cake. In the taste test, people like the cake made with xanthan gum more, both in terms of overall taste and texture. This suggests that xanthan gum might be a better choice for making low-fat cakes. So if you made it to the end of the video, chances are that you enjoyed learning what people also ask on Google. But let's face it, reading PAA yourself will be a pain. So here's the deal. I will do a reading for you and upload a video compiling some from PAA once a week. All you have to do is to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so you won't miss any PAA report that I compile. So just do it right now. Bye!